without your help, Pat.
All right.
Good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. So, you know what that means. This is actually Mike behind the mic. And glad to be back in the studio after being gone last week. I was in the UP for my bear hunt. Great hunt. Didn't get an animal. Didn't even see one. Well, that was kind of disappointing. But it's hunting, right? It is what it is. There we go. Cliff, good morning. How are you? Brian, nice to have you along with us on this edition of Behind the Mic. Hello, Johnny. How you doing, buddy? Captain Jim, how are you? Bill Hoffman, I've got your buddy Tony Clore coming up in this week's show. Thank you for that suggestion. Carl, good morning. How are you? Again, my name is Mike Avery. This is Mike Behind the Mic here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. Good morning, Jerry. Nice to have you with us as well on what is a beautiful morning in my neck of the woods. Hey, good morning, Ross. How are you, buddy? Joel. Jim. Long ashes right back at you, Tim. I was smoking a, what was it? It wasn't a Fat Bottom Betty. It was a, what is it, leather and lace or leather? Same company. Brian scored a nice buck. Hey, Skeeter, good morning. I just sent you a text, but you probably know that. Ted and Skeeter, I'm not trying to be greedy at all. Just checking on that. I'm looking forward to talking to him. Bill, appreciate that. Crazy Alice, I think it was, Tim. I think it's a Crazy Alice, yeah. And it reminded me a lot of a Fat Bottom Betty. It was really good. And I think I might start smoking some more of those. There, I like that framing a little bit better. Fat Bottom Betties are great. Hello, Joe. Let's see. What Johnny say here? All but one bait shut down, but the bear are coming in around 9:30. Doesn't do us any good, does it, Johnny? Doesn't do us any good. Lloyd says he didn't see any up there either. The rain and the weather overall wasn't good. That is so true. Man, that is so true. Johnny had bears coming into these baits like clockwork during the daylight every day. And then we had that massive cold front coming through. And rain and wind, and it just turned him right off. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. John says he's in class waiting to dissect fish to look at the stomach contents. John, I hope you don't find any lead weights in those stomach contents. Good morning, Davina. 17% less deer killed overall in the youth weekend. 17% less deer killed over youth weekend than over October 1st and 2nd, reporting works. I got to dissect this. I got to think this through, Bill. Brian said he had a bear visit his duck blind. Oh, they're not walleye, huh? Good morning, John. How are you, buddy? Going to miss you in Ohio this year. How are you? Oh, happy birthday, Ed. Yeah. How are you feeling, John? Robert says color popping north of Midland. When I was in the Upe last week, I was surprised at the lack of color, but this last week, color has really come on. Good morning, Brad. Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Behind the Mic here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. Can I tell you who's on this week's show? Vance Gowell. He's a bear guide and he's an elk guide, and he's had some wonderful hunts so far this fall, including he guided a blind veteran hunter to a successful hunt. I want to hear the details on that. Then Tony Clore, a friend of Bill Hoffman's, he was a successful bear hunter, but wolves got his bear before he could get to it. In hour number 2, we're talking with Captain Jeff Godey about waterfowl hunting. Nick Green from MUCC checks in this week's Ask Avery segment. And in our third hour, we're talking with audiologist and hunter, Dr. Mike Stewart, about shooting and hearing loss. And of course, wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner wraps it all up. Bill Hoffman says, people say youth weekend kills too many deer. I got you. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of the youth hunt, and I'm a big fan of mandatory check-in. What's the big deal? Cliff says, Mike, what day is it? It's hump day. Yeah, I'll be talking about it, John. Good morning, Jerry. How are you? Do Saginaw Bay walleye have enough lead in their diet? I don't know about Saginaw Bay walleye. We're talking about Lake Erie walleye. Thank you, Skeeter. Appreciate that. Sorry to bug you about it. Kevin says, maybe you should tell us what day it is. It's hump day. Pure and simple. Wednesday, middle of the week, hump day. Do you want me to be theatrical about it? It's hump day. There, now the whole building knows what day it is because the door wasn't closed. That's why I didn't do it before, because we didn't have the door closed. Pat says it's okay. They just go, Avery, the idiot's back in the studio. Pat did close the door when he left, though. I think he's trying to send me a message. Yeah, Skeeter, I was... I don't want to say I was disappointed with my hunt, because I wasn't. Anytime I can get out in the woods and look for bears, I'm happy, but I really, really wanted to use that Brenton 350 Legend on a Michigan black bear. And I didn't get, RIP to Pat's ears, and I didn't get the chance to do it. So I'm disappointed with that. But again, how can you be disappointed with a hunt? Critters are what critters are, and critters do what critters do. Johnny had those bears dialed in. He had them patterned. And Mother Nature threw a curveball at us, and there's nothing you can do about it. So now, my bow plans, I haven't even shot my bow yet, Brian. I tell you what, Brian, I am so disinterested in deer hunting that I haven't even shot my bow yet. I haven't been out yet. Johnny says he was disappointed too. Of course he was. Johnny wants all of his hunters to be successful. I was successful. I just didn't shoot a bear. I didn't see a bear. I guess that's a disappointing point. I didn't even get to see a bear, and I love bears. I love seeing bears. I wish I would have had the opportunity to. Now I got to wait 2 years. So I've tried 3 times now to shoot a Michigan bear, and I just haven't been successful. My bear season overall this year was a little bit lackluster. Is there a reason I chose the 350 over the 450? Yeah, versatility. 450 is a great caliber, but I just I thought the 350 was better for my purposes, better all around gun, more versatile. Mr. Mike, please give me one more chance. Johnny, here's the problem, Johnny. I listen, if you get an active bait in the daytime, I'm there like the next day. But the problem is, today's Wednesday. I got plans for Thursday and Friday that I could change if I had to. I have plans for Saturday that I can't change. Next week, I'm in the studio again Monday and Wednesday, and Saturday we head to Ohio. So, Johnny, if you get an active bait, I'm there, but time is running out. Now, I guess, no, time's running out, Johnny. Time is not our friend right now, right? Oh, you're talking 2 years from now. I thought you were talking yet this season. Yeah, because time's gone. Why not use a 308 or a 30-06? I feel like that's overkill for a bear. Those calibers are far superior to those slow 350 and 450s. I don't pretend to be a ballistics expert, but Johnny says he hates to say it, but it is ugly for this year. Yeah, put a fork in this year, Johnny. It's done, isn't it? But so 2 more years. 2 more years, I'll give it a try. 4th time is a charm, yeah, right? Beautiful morning in the woods. Glad when Billy's out sitting this morning. Good luck, Billy. Yeah, it would be a beautiful, beautiful morning. I have no experience, Lloyd, with a 308. I do have experience with a 30-06. I like a 30-06, but I don't think I like it any more than a 270 I mean, I don't know. Skeeter says a 350 is like throwing a pumpkin at something. See, that's my thinking too, Skeeter. You take a 350 or a 450, you take that big, slow-moving slug, and when it hits with a vengeance. That's what I was thinking. Plus, the 350 was a better gun for my grandson Carter to use on the youth hunt, and he did take a nice doe with it. I think a 450 might have been a bit too much for him. Johnny said, bad weather coming in. Yeah, we're kind of screwed now, aren't we, Johnny? Good morning, Kevin. Kevin Coyote Killing King Rot. How are you, buddy? That's a great description. A 350 is like throwing a pumpkin at something with accuracy. That again with my thought. It leaves all the energy inside the critter, not just zipping through it. 30-06, 308. I mean, when they hit, they go boom. But again, I don't pretend to be a ballistics expert. I just use what I'm comfortable with. How come you're not working, Johnny? Oh, by the way, Johnny, how's your ankle? How's it feeling? At the 70/30, here's funny story. I said, Johnny, how far is my bait? He said, 70 yards. I'm like, cool, I'm dialed in. I get up there, we're looking at it, it's like, that bait's 30 yards, Johnny. So Johnny is indeed the bear whisperer, but he's not very good at judging distance. Just saying. Good morning, Steve. Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Behind the Mic. By the way, my name is Mike Avery. ML. See, you're going to get into these. 7mm 08 to 30/30 is his way to. I appreciate the way you said that, ML. Your way to go. I like that because everybody's got their own opinion, right? I appreciate you saying that. Johnny needs a rangefinder for Christmas. Well, I brought him a battery for his rangefinder. Mike's going to go spend some money at Jay's. Mike, are you going to Jay's to buy one of those Brenton 350s? Or something else, one of those Brenton USA rifles? You can get them at Jay's. I know you were looking at them. You're the perfect guy to have one of those Brentons, Mike. You deserve a Brenton. BrentonUSA.com, BrentonUSA.com. I would encourage you to go to Jay's and get one. If you can't, there's an option of going to BrentonUSA.com, use the promo code Avery, and you can save $100. Skeeter says, do it, Mike. Do it. David, there you go. He likes his 350 Legend. He killed a 12 point at 195 yards. Very impressed with the gun. I am too. Here we go, Lloyd. Those calibers are slightly faster than 50 caliber muzzleloader. AR frame are not anywhere near as accurate as a good, just his opinion. Ballistic, well, okay. I would respectfully disagree in one aspect there. Those AR frames are not anywhere as near accurate as a good bolt action gun. Those Brentons are pretty dang accurate. They're designed to be accurate. Not to jump topics, Rapid River Knife Works, they have a couple cool fillet knives. One is a regular, another is a double-sided. Any recommendation? Davina, you can't go wrong. Whatever one you think will work for you, you cannot go wrong with a Rapid River knife. As proof of that, I believe in them. I carry one every day. There's mine. Morning, Craig. How are you? Crash at work. Late and busy. Well, I hope you got things up and running again, Craig. Brian says, what other critters did I see waiting for the bears? Well, I saw squirrels and I saw ravens. And that was pretty much it. Good morning, Tim. How are you? Hey, Tim, guess what? Other than getting a bear, or actually more important even than getting a bear, Tim, what is the biggest, best news that I could get? I'll wait for your response. Good morning, Mad Jack. How are you? Watching over on YouTube. Tim Binns, what is the single best news that I could get? Hey, old friend Donnie Mae. Not that you're old, Donnie Mae. No, the turkey. I did not, Donnie Mae. I did not. I've never used a double-sided Davina, so I don't know. I've never used one, so I don't know the answer to that. Ding, 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 ding. Amen, Tim. Pastor Seth Kaiser accepted our call. He, his wife, Kate, and their 4 kids will be at Trinity in December. All right, John, he's going to go dissect Lake Erie walleye, looking for lead weights. Amen to that, Brother Tim. Yes, although I know my headphones work. I think I have them unplugged now, but I know they work. Okay. Good morning, Josh. How are you? Was it your birthday yesterday, Josh, your anniversary. What was it? Yeah, I will. Something's sounding a little off, Pat. I don't know what it is. And it could just be me looking for something with a new system. I no, I guess it's all right. Josh says he can't figure out how to post my page anyway. Josh, if you figure it out, please let me know because it is a cluster right now. Trying to figure out how to post to the page. I have no idea how to do that. No idea. What has changed, Josh? Well, that'd be pretty good news too, Brad. No news on that. I don't know, Brad. That would be pretty good news. Anyway, Josh, listen, Facebook has gone absolutely bonkers. Facebook's motto is if it works, let's change it. And they have. I can't figure out how to tell people to post to the page. I don't know how to do it anymore. It's driving me crazy. It used to be you could just post to the page and I could share it. Boom. And then it was, okay, well, if you post under the mentions tab, then I could share it. Well, now it's not even that anymore. I just don't know. I'm absolutely confused. I'm frustrated. You can send me an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com and I can post it, but that takes several steps. And when I'm busy and have a bunch of posts waiting, it's very, very frustrated. So any of you social media experts out there, please tell me. Although I will tell you this, there are, and I'm going to get myself in trouble, but I'm going to say it anyway. There are two groups that I don't have a lot of use for. Marketing/ad agencies. Pat's laughing because he gets it too. They make their money on the backs of people actually doing the job. And social media experts, because there really aren't any experts when it comes to social media. They think they are, but they're really not. So there, I said it. Probably trying to figure out how to force us to use Messenger. Maybe, Davina. I don't know. Trying to share a picture on Facebook right now, you'd have a better chance of trying to figure out how to cure cancer. It's like almost impossible. But again, if you are a social media expert or if you are an owner of a marketing agency or an ad agency, I'm sure you know more than I do. Or at least you think you do. Donnie Mae says, it's true. Now take your phone and put it right up to the mic and see what happens. Whoa, 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 whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, good. It is hump day. I think Tim hit it on that. Well, at least as far as social media. No one can be an expert at something they change every day. Very, very true. Social media, very true. The other category I talked about, not so much. I'm afraid we won't, Brian. I wish we would. I wish we would, but I don't think it's in the cards. Again, here's who's coming up on this week's. Oh, can I see that, Pat? I'll show people what we're munching on this morning. Here's what we're munching on in the studio this morning. These are Michigan brand honey barbecued smoked turkey. Pat gives it a big thumbs up. I'll save this for later. I'm not going to eat it now, but now my mouth is watering. Thank you, Pat. You're welcome. Kevin says, want a beautiful custom knife? Check out Hemker Blacksmithing, Michigan's own forged and fire winner. Okay, very cool. If I want a custom knife, I'll go to Michigan's own Rapid River. Although Chris was not in the Forged and Fire, so you can't compare that. Good morning, Lee. How are you? Where'd you go? There's Lee. No, thank you. No, thank you. A run for governor, yeah. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show, Vance Gowell talks about his successful efforts in guiding a blind veteran hunter to a beautiful black bear. Then Tony Clore talks about losing his Michigan black bear to wolves. In hour number 2, Captain Jeff Godey of the Michigan Experience talks about waterfowl hunting. Then Nick Green of MUCC checks in this week's Ask Avery segment. A couple of things I'm waiting to get an answer on. And in our third hour, audiologist and avid hunter Mike Stewart talks about shooting and hearing loss. What you say? Shooting and hearing loss. What? Talk louder, Avery. I can't hear you. Shooting and hearing loss. My ears are shot, pun intended, because of shooting without ear protection. That and too many concerts when I was a kid. 1 minute. And of course, we'll wrap it all up with Wild Game Chef Extraordinaire Dave Miner. I did a lot of stupid things when I was a kid. I don't apologize for any of them. I probably would have changed a few things had I known then what I know now, but isn't that the beauty of youth? You're too stupid to know better, and you deal with the consequences later. Oh, well. Brian says, get that bow out. It'll get the deer passion back for you. Not really. Not really. I have passion for walleye hunting. I have passion for walleye fishing. I have passion for turkey hunting. I have much passion for bear hunting. Deer hunting I will do because I do it. John says he's got his Blind Spot 360, amazing product. Thank you. I don't think so, John. Dad also lost a bear to wolves. Okay, I better get this is 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. All right, my friends, I have to change gears here now to switch from doing this live stream here on some of my social media outlets from switching from this microphone to this microphone, the official broadcast microphone. I will talk about many of the same topics that you and I have discussed here on Behind the Mic, but it's a different audience. As a result, I won't directly interact with you. I won't be able to answer your questions. So don't think I'm being rude, although maybe I am. But anyway, see you tonight, 7 o'clock, Wednesday Night Live. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine show right here on the Outdoor Magazine Radio Network. My name is Mike Avery, back in the studio. Always glad to be here for 3 hours talking about the history and tradition of the outdoor lifestyle here in the great state of Michigan. Pat, I figured out what it is. My volume's a little lower than it was. Can you bump me up a little bit? There we go. I think that helps. Yeah, thank you, Pat. Thank you. Anyway, Mike Avery here in the Outdoor Magazine studio, talking about the history and tradition of the outdoors, the outdoor lifestyle, hunting and fishing and shooting and trapping here in the great state of Michigan and occasionally beyond. Although as I look at this week, no, one small topic will take us outside of the state of Michigan, but much of it is Michigan related. So how are you? What have you been doing since we last talked? Have you done anything fun as we work our way through the month of Rocktober, a rock and roll time of year here in the outdoors in the great state of Michigan? Fall color now is really starting to take off, I guess, depending on where you are. When I was up in the UP last week, I was actually quite surprised at the lack of color, but things have really developed here, really progressed here in this last week. Even here mid-state where I live in the Lower Peninsula, we're starting to see some beautiful color. Isn't it a wonderful time of year? It's a beautiful time of year. It's cooler. It's not muggy. The leaves are on fire. Oh, I just absolutely love this time of year. I was in the UP for my bear hunt. This was my third attempt at taking a Michigan black bear. My first hunt was several years ago, hunting with Gary Morgan of Wild Game Dynasty. I was hunting with my crossbow. And 45 minutes into the first sit, a bear came in to the bait and sat there and fed and looked at me. And I decided not to take that bear because I had been waiting 9 years to get a Michigan bear tag. And I said, there's no way I'm going to let my hunt be over in 45 minutes. Never saw another bear. Now, there is a lesson there, and I know there's a lesson there, but I'm okay with that lesson. I found out that if you wait till the third season, you can get a hunt in many parts of the UP every other year, a tag every other year. So that's what I did. That time, 2 years ago, I was hunting with Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer, and I was using my recurve. So talk about making it tough, right? I'm sitting on a bear bait with a recurve, like 7 yards from the bait. There's no room for error there at all. A bear did come in. I didn't get a shot at it. Okay. That was it. That season's over. This year, wanting very, very badly to shoot a Michigan bear, I decided to switch tactics. I stayed with Johnny, but I used a rifle this time, a 350 Legend from Brenton, USA. I thought, how cool is it going to be to shoot my Michigan black bear with a Michigan-made gun? And by using a rifle, I can back up from the bait a little bit. It'll increase my odds of success. And I've got this all in the back of my mind. When I'm up in Ontario back in August, I'm thinking, I'm thinking I'm going to shoot a Michigan bear. So it's not as important if I don't shoot a bear in Ontario. What are we going to do with 2 bears in the freezer, right? We won't eat 2 bears. So I wasn't real concerned with shooting a bear up there. I let a small sow pass. It was the only bear I saw, by the way, on that trip, which is kind of unusual to go to Ontario to hunt with Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters, sit there for 3 days and only see 1 bear. But it happens, right? It's hunting. These are critters. Critters do what critters want to do. But I wasn't worried because I knew I'd be hunting with Johnny Bowler in the UP with my Brenton. Johnny had bears coming in every day like clockwork in the middle of the afternoon, which is no small feat in the third season. I was very, very optimistic going into the hunt. There were multiple bears, including 2 really nice bears coming into this bait as early as 2:30 in the afternoon, as late as 7:30 in the evening. Broad daylight, like clockwork. But then the weather changed. Big cold front came through, rain, a lot of wind. Now, in my limited experience as a whitetail hunter, I'm thinking, okay, cold weather, a cold front gets the animals up on their feet and moving. Apparently, that's not the case with bears. The baits went absolutely dead. And not just my bait, most of Johnny's other baits and baits from several hunters and outfitters across the UP went dead. I sat there for 4 days, 6 to 7 hours a day, and never saw a bear. Not one. Not one little bear, not one sow with cubs. I didn't see a bear. And the trail cameras proved that the baits had indeed just gone dead. Now, my buddy Scott Gatza, who was also hunting with Johnny on the same property I was, did take a nice bear. In fact, a 350-pound sow. That's a big sow. I have, pictures of that sow on my bait. So I'm thinking in some ways Scott poached my bear. That's a joke. He didn't. He was smart enough to see a window of opportunity and went out there in the morning when the wind wasn't blowing and shot that bear just after daylight. Now you might say, well, Avery, if you were out there in the morning, you could have shot a bear too. No, because we had a cellular trail camera on that bait and nothing came in. So the gist of it is I didn't get a bear. Does that mean I was unsuccessful in my hunt? No, absolutely not. I had a great hunt. I got to go to the UP. I got to sit in the bear blind for 4 days, sit there with anticipation, knowing in my mind that at any minute a bear was going to walk out. The fact that it didn't, oh well. I am somewhat disappointed that I didn't get to use that Brenton on a bear, but there will be other opportunities. I will be back up there again in 2 years if the point system stays the way that it is. I'll be back in 2 years. I'm going to try it again. So 3 times now I have tried to get a Michigan black bear, and I have been unsuccessful in every trip. it just makes me want to do it even more. It just makes me even more determined. I will get it done. It just didn't happen this year. But that gives me something to work towards, something to look forward to. Johnny did his job. Mother Nature just didn't cooperate. And as I always say on this show, that's one of the things I love about this outdoor pursuit, these outdoor passions that we have. Ultimately, it's out of our control. In our day-to-day jobs, we press buttons and we look at screens and we touch screens, and there's an immediate response, and it's an affirmative response. It does what we want it to do. You get outdoors, that changes. And that's why I love it. I got to bring this up, and I know you know about this by now. Those two dirtbag cheaters on Lake Erie who got caught cheating in the walleye tournament. Now, I'm not a big fan of walleye tournaments in general, personally. I fish for fun, and in my mind, when you start adding competition to it, it changes the entire scenario for me, and that's why I don't like them. I also don't like them because sometimes if you get a dirtbag to begin with, competition and the promise of money tends to bring out the worst in them. And you've probably heard about this, but there was a tournament series, a tournament down on Lake Erie, where the guy who was weighing the fish in, who just happened to be a cop, a Toledo cop, by the way, he's like, you know what? This doesn't look right. He says, we've seen hundreds of fish of that length, and we know that they should be a certain weight. So these two dirtbags fish come in 2 to 3 pounds heavier than what they should be, and they win the tournament. The weighmaster / Toledo cop, after the thing is over, he walks over and he says, this doesn't seem right. He takes out his knife, he zips one of these fish open, and inside the fish, he finds lead weights. These dirtbag tournament anglers had stuffed these fish full of lead weights. They were so purposeful about it. They thought, oh no, these lead weights are going to bang together. You're going to hear it. They took walleye fillets. So apparently they'd been out there on the water filleting fish and dumping the carcasses overboard. They put a lead weight in the fish. They'd stuff a walleye fillet down its throat and stuff another lead weight in there so they wouldn't bang together. But they got caught. Now, the thinking is that they had been doing this on several tournaments ahead of time or before then. Unfortunately, there's no way to prove that. But fortunately, they were disgraced. Their crown, their title for this tournament was revoked. They're shamed in the walleye tournament world. They're lucky they didn't get attacked, beat up by the other anglers who were not real happy. You can find it. Check all over YouTube. It's all over YouTube. You'll see it. They got what they deserved. Coming up after the break here on this week's Outdoor Magazine show, we're going to switch gears. We're going to go from a story of bad people to a story of good people and how guide Vance Gowell guided a blind veteran hunter to a successful bear hunt. That and more after the break right here on Outdoor Magazine. All right, I'm just looking at some of the comments here. Adam, who shot a huge bear, 500 and some pounds, if I remember right. Adam, congrats on that. All right, my friends, I got to go. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Behind the Mic. I will be back tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. I hope to see you then. In the